Hey guys, and welcome back to another one of my videos. In one of my previous videos, I showed you how to pull off a bloom effect on your emissions, basically how to add more light to your emissions, and few people had questions regarding what's the difference between emissions and bloom effect in VRChat and when it comes to emissions overall. So today I'm going to be quickly explaining to you what's the difference and benefits between emissions and using the bloom effect on your emissions. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start off with emissions. Emissions is something that you can have on your VRChat avatar that will basically illuminate and make the areas that you mark based on your choice, it will make them appear more glowy and basically they will glow compared to your regular body. I'll show an example on the screen right now. This is an example of an emission mask. As you can see, only some parts of the avatar are glowy. Now these emissions are going to show up in any single situation in every single world, no matter if the world is bright or dark. Your emissions is something that you enable and you have enabled anywhere you go basically. So you're always going to see them, you're always going to view them. That's a rough example of the emissions. Now let's go on to the bloom effect. Now bloom effect is something that you add on top of your emissions that basically make them super glowy. Think of it as like a flashlight where you look in front of it where it's off and then you look at it when it's on. That is basically when you add bloom effect, is that when a flashlight is on. What are some of the benefits of the bloom effect on your emission masks? They basically make your whole emissions pop way more and they're way more noticeable. However, this effect does not work in every single situation in every single world. In order for the bloom effect on your emissions to work, the specific VRChat world has to have bloom enabled. These will be mostly party worlds and rave worlds, places where you expect to have flashy lights and booming lights. In these scenarios, you're gonna have the bloom effect in the world on. Some worlds even have it where you can enable the bloom effect and disable it. Now, what are the benefits of having the bloom effect? Well, I mean, it does make your emissions appear way more cooler and noticeable, and depending on how fast and how extreme you go with it, this can really pop and it can really show it can really add life to your emissions. Now, what are some of the downfalls is that when there's no bloom effect in the world, your emissions are just going to be very dull and they're not going to be that noticeable. Another perk with having emissions is you're able to have audio link. So with audio link, you're able to make your emissions pop a bit more and go completely dim and completely bright. This is why sticking to pure emissions is better and preferred by many people, but for those who want that, a little bit of spice and know that the certain world that they go to has bloom enabled, then they're going to enable the bloom effect and then boom, you get that effect and it's really neat. Now, can you mix and match the bloom effect and emissions? Sure, you can mix it in with audio link. It's not going to look right in most cases it's not going to look good in my personal opinion. So there you go. I hope that this video explained to you the difference between emissions and bloom effect on your emissions. As always, if you have some more questions, let me know down in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.